Just a little about yourself and, what was going on before we met, frustrations you had, right? That you had before you started the program,
Sure. So prior to the program beginning, I was traveling a great deal for business for a long time, all over the world, and had steadily sort of ground down between the stresses of work and aging. The combination was brutal, and I probably destroyed my circadian rhythms
right?
in
That's
the
so sad.
process of all of that. And so when I reached out to Dr. Ryan, it was because I was still trying to achieve to the level I had before and to anything approaching my own standards. And no matter what I did, I just couldn't get back to where I wanted to be. And after doing a great deal of investigation and problem solving myself in many different areas, down many different avenues, I just thought there could be a very basic overall biological set of causes to my experience. And so that's why I decided to get in touch and get lab values done.
Yeah, that's interesting because we had that baseline of kind of where you're at with the 50 pound biomarker test. But, before you kind of thought through, your current situation, where you wanted to go, what were some of the main things that kind of drew you to Dr. Ryan and SummaUp in the first place? Uh,
So, so very basically, he seemed credible. Outward facing material that I saw, and I wondered, is this even real? Is this guy as sort of vibrant as he appears, and can he deliver the results? And so, to be honest, I was skeptical, which would probably make me a good test candidate actually for this program because I frankly didn't buy it. And
Mhm.
I also went and got values from other sources
Yeah.
and then compared. Um, I compared how everybody went about their business, right? Including like intake with you. And I think I told you in our first contact how surprised I was and how refreshing I found it to interact with you because this is the first group that actually was highly knowledgeable, highly professional, and actually cared. Like I could tell you guys were invested in the outcomes of your clients. So that's a bit of a long, involved answer to your relatively
Yeah.
simple question, but
No, it makes total
that's what it
sense.
came down to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really cool that you A/B tested the several different
yeah,
other
for
alternatives
sure.
out there
Yeah,
and try to see.
yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good, that's a smart move. And then like kind of after working with Dr. Ryan, if you kind of reflect on like what it was like working together, were there any roadblocks, what were you able to kind of accomplish, right? Working with Dr. Ryan?
So overall, I've had a return of. I mean, I don't want to sound too dramatic. I feel like I've had a return of myself in a way that I could only have hoped for, but not actually expected. And that's largely due to the things that he's suggested doing, both in terms of
Intervention.
supplementation, diet, activity, all of the above. So I have less aches and pains overall. I have more ability to do more and better in the gym. My recovery time is better.
Very good.
I just feel more overall vibrant, and like I'm getting back, continuing to get back more and more enthusiasm for what I do, just in a generalized sense, and an enthusiasm for life. So I don't think that people really understand. I certainly didn't. Like the subtle degradation that happens with aging in terms of hormone levels and how global the effects actually are. And so, it's not an overstatement to say I feel like I'm getting myself back in like all compartments. Like there's no area where I'm like, oh, this isn't really working yet. I feel everything changing for the better.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And kind of I guess digging a little deeper into that, like in terms of kind of professionally, have you noticed kind of any noticeable differences, any kind of variance, right? Before and after working with Dr. Ryan? Well,
Sure, more energy level, more and like I said, enthusiasm for engagement and ability to engage. And I'm frequently working with people who are, 20 to 30 years younger than me. which in many respects is awesome and is energizing in itself,
Oh,
but
right.
it's also quite a demand to somebody, much older to keep up, you know. And I don't really have shame around that, like a lot of people do, like, oh my God, but it's still very uncomfortable, to be able to know what I'm was capable of, not be able to attain it, and
Entertainment,
then
right.
getting it back is amazing.
No,
Yeah.
that makes total sense. Yeah, because you have a pretty kind of a tough role, right? In high stress, you're kind of a jet setter, so to speak. But it's good to see kind of some incremental improvements in the professional life, and then metabolically, kind of when you work out. You mentioned recovery. Have you
Mhm.
noticed kind of those improvements when you work out with regard to kind of weightlifting, or if it's like outdoor activity? Kind of, have you noticed kind of the variance there as well and the improvements?
Sure. So with weightlifting, there's no question. Like I can load up a lot more than I used to, and I can actually progress. I can actually move further into certain exercises and movements in terms of numbers, just the sheer amount of weight or reps that I'm doing. But also just the felt sense of it. This is for me the most profound difference, like numbers aside, having the energy to work out and then feeling the result of it afterward positively, rather than like I've just knocked myself down
Yeah.
and I have to recover for several days and then sort of limp back to it. it
Right.
it's really a profound difference. Yeah.
No, that's actually helpful because I think we think you'd be a great candidate for the next cohort of Lean for Life, right? If we can get your schedule to align with it. But yeah, it's great to see kind of all facets of kind of your improvement. And is there anything else you kind of want to add about the experience or some of the kits or anything that you found benefit to in terms of what you're,
Several
yeah,
things. Yes. So, first of all, I want to say that, as I told you in our first conversation, that I don't believe testimonials and I don't listen to them. Right. And so I literally haven't
I
looked
remember
at
that.
any testimonials from this, which I'm now participating in for a good number of months. And it's the
Right.
first time I've ever said, hey, I'd actually like to do a testimonial. And that speaks to not just my experience of my own health, but to my experience of you guys and the care that I've gotten, which has been sincere and detailed and responsive. And so I actually want to be able to share this with other people, because the benefit is so great. And then as far as the actual kits, the brain kit is amazing. um, I had experimented with constituents of it on my own, but I had never tried the
The combination.
combination or
Yeah.
the protocol. And as I've experimented with the combination and the protocol, Dr. Ryan has been able to even give sort of further tweaks and refinements, for people who, really are sort of biohackers like myself. Again,
Very cool.
I don't like the cliches any more than I like testimonials, but I am a biohacker. That's really what it comes down to. And yeah, so that's been an amazing one, I have to say. Also, the I've tried both the sleep enhancer
Right.
and I forget the name of the other one, the companion one. It's the
Yeah.
like physical.
I think it's the growth hormone secretagogues, right? That
Yes, so
I think
there's
you,
two there's
yeah.
two different versions of the secretagogue packages. I've tried both of them. The one that was designed more specifically for sleep, I didn't respond to well in terms of getting better sleep. I mean, I felt the difference in my system, but it didn't actually affect my sleep personally. But that's a really, really personal thing. Like the complications of sleep are so great that I wouldn't say that that package doesn't deliver it. I would say that my system didn't mesh with it. And
Mhm.
then as far as the other package, it actually worked better for me. I
Physique
got
transformation. Yeah.
less, yeah, so I got less irritation from the administration of the CJC based package than from the sleep oriented one.
Somnolipron. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just really personal chemistry. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's good because like I think you're right. It's everything. Everyone has kind of like their own unique longevity blueprint, but I think the most important facet is, I guess, taking that first step and trying and seeing out what works. And then what's
Yep.
great for us is you're incredibly responsive. You do your weekly, you do your check-ins every quarter or so. We have the blood test results. We kind of can see the trend in terms of lipid, triglycerides, and inflammation. Like we see everything, and you're improving it. And so clearly, like you're adhering to the plans, right? And you're kind of following the trajectory, right? So we're kind of really thankful to have a client like yourself who is invested in your health and you view it as a priority. But yeah, Kenny, this is incredibly helpful, and I think this is great to kind of hear from you. So
Great.
that's it.
I'm glad. And yeah, I will do the lean for life. I mean, I actually just snapped a photo for it, which was a shameful process, but but probably a really good thing to like, oh my God, this is real. I'm looking at a photo of my current state. I've got to improve it now, so I'm in the right place in that regard as well. Yeah.